Thanks everyone, and thanks for spending the time to join us in this session today. I think we're probably all clear about why we're here and why we need to embed enterprise and entrepreneurship in higher and further education, not just in this country but across the globe. When we, a couple of years ago, did an analysis of the top 100 high-growth companies in the UK, we discovered that about 80%, over 80% of them were founded and managed by university graduates. When we looked at an analysis of the top 100 high-tech companies in the UK, we found a similar statistic. I think it was about 76%. So it's clear that graduate entrepreneurs are important for contributing to our economy. But if we want more graduate entrepreneurs, and I think we would all agree that they're good for the country, we actually need to think about how we develop more entrepreneurial graduates. And I think that's where I would like to focus the attention of my short introduction today. And to increase the level of the development of entrepreneurial graduates out from universities and colleges, there are a number of areas where there are some excellent opportunities and excellent experiences that we can exploit. And that's both at the institutional level, in terms of ensuring that we take a whole institution approach to this agenda. This is not just about working with students and graduates. This is also working about other parts of the ecosystem, the entrepreneurial ecosystem, and about how we develop ways that are transformative in the way that they change the experiences for students and staff in delivering entrepreneurial graduates. So both HE and FE have a critical role to play here, as David suggested. And I think there are two areas that I would like us to focus on in terms of delivering this agenda. One is the leadership of our higher and further education institutions, and the others is the educators in those institutions. So when NCEE first started, we did a lot of work directly with students and graduates. It didn't take us long to recognize that there are some fantastic students with great aspirations, but actually if we really want to allow them to achieve their full potential, we need to be working with the staff who have the highest level of interface with those students. Their lecturers, their teachers, the educators. And we needed to build those individuals with the tools, the skills, the understanding and the capacity to better support their students. So we've been doing that, and I'll tell you in a minute exactly the work that we've been doing with educators. But equally, having worked with educators for a short while, we recognized that it was exactly the same issue working with the educators. They also worked within an institutional framework. And it was often that framework that got in the way of enhancing entrepreneurial potential in the institution. So there's a clear role for the leadership as well as the educators if we want to stimulate more entrepreneurial graduates. And I think this is also about recognizing that we don't look upon entrepreneurship as an academic subject, but we look upon entrepreneurship as a set of learning outcomes from an educational experience. So it's a mindset, a set of skills, a set of attitudes, a set of behaviors that can be developed in any student studying any subject or discipline. So, I think we've stressed the point that this is important for the economy, because we do need more individuals with those entrepreneurial aspirations, but we also need organizations that can think and act in an entrepreneurial manner. So our students and graduates need to understand how do you design organizations to behave like that. And we also need to ensure that what happens in the university and the college is fundamentally part of a broader ecosystem. It's in the connectivity between the staff, the businesses, the industry, the local communities and others that stimulate the opportunities for entrepreneurship. So if NCEE was going to produce a political manifesto for change, then I think these would be some of the key points that that would be on the manifesto, and particularly the first one, which is about levelling the playing field for all learners. And when we do our annual survey of enterprise and entrepreneurship provision, it's been very clear over the past 5 years that the majority of provision of educational opportunities comes from business and management schools. And business and management schools have a particular conception of entrepreneurship, mainly around business startup. So if we're trying to embed enterprise and entrepreneurship in all faculties and all disciplines, then we need to change this conception of entrepreneurship. So it's fundamentally about developing an opportunity for levelling the playing field for all learners. And as I've said, that has implications for the senior leadership in the institutions, for the educators, and it's not about what we teach, it's more about how we teach. And I think that was a point that was raised this morning. So our objectives within this agenda are very much to think about ways which we can support and enhance the leadership and management in our institutions so they make their institutions more conducive places for the development of entrepreneurial mindsets and behaviours. That's what we're trying to do in addressing the challenge of leadership and management. But it's also about ways of embedding enterprise and entrepreneurial learning in education. And this is very much about the blend between in-curricular and extracurricular activity, and recognising that learners learn from lots of people, not just from educators. So I think it's also about taking a much broader approach to creating an effective learning environment. And we need to increase the opportunities for students to engage in those environments so that we can not only develop more entrepreneurial graduates, but through those entrepreneurial graduates, support a growing development of new, exciting, dynamic small businesses. And if you look at recent research that came out about job growth across Europe recently, the only job growth that's taking place in Europe to date is through the starting of new, small, dynamic companies. So clearly this is a key aspect of an educational experience for our students. So how do we do this? From a national perspective, there are 3 areas that we focus on. So the first one is the entrepreneurial institution. So what do we do in this area? The entrepreneurial institution is the name of a program that's supported by the government, where we work with national partners and Doug Richard from Dragon's Den, who will be with us this afternoon after this session, to bring to universities and colleges opportunities to understand and be made aware of what's available in terms of stimulating more enterprise and entrepreneurship. From that, we would link into a range of different learning opportunities that are available through NCEE and partners. The most important one is the Entrepreneurial University Leaders Programme that we've been running for 2 years. And this brings together 20 to 25 senior staff from universities across the UK to spend time in understanding what an entrepreneurial university is, how does it work, and how do they make their own universities more entrepreneurial places. And we've been doing that in the UK, and we've more recently been also transferring that to universities in places such as Pakistan and Malaysia. To hold up this notion of the entrepreneurial university as something that's legitimate for a higher education institution, we also, with the Times, run an annual Entrepreneurial University of the Year award. And we give this award to a single university that has best demonstrated over the previous year a journey to becoming a more entrepreneurial institution. And this is a very competitive program that enables us to look at a range of institutions and identify which one has been making the greatest progress. We also offer institutional reviews where we help institutions to understand where they might be on this journey and how they could improve their level of entrepreneurial opportunity and development for their staff and students. So there's a whole range of things that we do to stimulate leadership and management. and we're currently working with partners about doing something similar with the further education sector. The second area, entrepreneurship education, is an area we've been working on for several years, and we have a range of programs that we run in partnership with Enterprise Educators UK, which is a national membership body of educators, where we stimulate the use of a broader toolkit for delivering effective entrepreneurship education. And our aim here is to move educators away from a didactic chalk and talk approach to one which is very experiential, action-based, opportunity-driven learning. And we have a very wide range of pedagogic tools that we use in programs such as our Entrepreneurship Educators program, which is a CPD program, which then links into professional certificates and master's levels. So there's a whole range of academic career progression that educators can engage in to stimulate the delivery of more effective entrepreneurship education. And then finally, we have an online learning platform called Make It Happen, where we engage students at all stages in their entrepreneurial journey and provide them with the necessary support and resources to enable them to get to where they want to go. So that's just a quick flavour of the sorts of things we do on a national level, but I hope the message that comes out is that this is a whole organisation approach. So if we truly want to embed enterprise in higher education, it's not just a matter of working with the educators. We need to look at the whole institution, the policies, the structures, the culture, the values, the way it rewards staff, the way it rewards success with its students, and the way that it integrates with a broader entrepreneurial ecosystem. So this is not a challenge unique to the UK. It's global. We've been doing work through the Leaders Programme by connecting up with a couple of fantastic institutions in the United States. And if ever you want to see a couple of great examples of how to take a good university and turn it into an exemplary entrepreneurial university, then go and have a look at what Michael Crow, the president of Arizona State University, has done. Go and meet up with Holden Thorpe, who's the chancellor of the University of North Carolina. They are visionary leaders, and I guess what we're trying to do at a national level is see how we can stimulate more visionary leadership that will deliver higher levels of enterprise and entrepreneurship in this country. Thanks very much.